I think you're on mute, Tamar. There you go.
Yeah, so hi everyone. Hi Sharona.
Good morning. Good morning, Tamar. Good morning, everyone. And we really make it good by starting with our minute.
All right.
Just as it can be so hot outside. But we do have a place to enter, which is protected from that heat, offers coolness and comfort. So in the same way, if there's any hot place in my mind, in my heart, any stress, can I remember that there is a place inside me which is protected from all of that? To turn my attention inwards, go beyond the mind, beyond those vibrations, to that air-conditioned spiritual aspect of myself, as cool as a day in the country, near the lake, and the gentle, refreshing breeze all around.
You know what you reminded me was this 1 minute. You know,
Yeah.
when you go abroad, the time before, the week before is a little bit hectic, right? You need to finish, organize things, think about all the things you need to finish and everything. And then the minute you're on the, you know, maybe the car to the airport or in the airport, that minute, everything quiets down. And it's like this transformation, and you know, you wait for that. You know that you're in a hectic week, and you know that there's gonna be a point, 1 minute in time, that everything is gonna calm down and change. And I think you just took us to a little trip abroad.
The amazing thing is that I can do this at any moment. In other words, I can have that moment where I can let go and have the feeling of the next step versus all the pressure of what hasn't yet been done. I can do that for myself at any moment, and that's called meditation.
Yeah. And I think the nice thing about it is, like, we're talking about just, we know a transformation from A to B. We don't see it all as we have that and that and that. You know, it's not like sequel and doesn't end. There is one point and the other.
That's right.
That's it.
You know, another analogy, even though it's a little bit gross, is the self is really a palace. There are many rooms and they're majestic, they're gorgeous. Am I sure that I want to spend all the time in the bathroom? You know, where there's so much waste, so much germ, so much plumbing going on. I don't need to spend all my time in my mind. There's another place to go to in the palace of the self. And that's where we just went, right?
Yeah, so just share with us a thought from that place in the palace.
Yeah, here we go. Now, in the palace of the self, this thought makes a lot of sense. And this is the thought. Don't give sorrow and don't take sorrow. This is our thought for today. Don't give sorrow and don't take sorrow.
And it's a wonderful thought, and I think it's really important to hear this thought from the elevated place.
That's right.
Because it's really easy to hear this thought in a different place.
That's right.
And I think we need to speak and see how it comes, how come we're talking about sorrow in this elevated place, from
Yeah.
this elevated point.
Yeah. It's interesting what you're bringing up. It's so interesting because if we're not in the palace of the self and somehow stuck in the bathroom of the self,
Of the sorrow.
the sorrow and the confusion and the overwhelm and the stress, then that thought, this statement seems ridiculous. It seems unrealistic, and it actually can be annoying or make us angry. Because look at the world, look at what's going on in our country. Really? You know, how can you not take sorrow? But actually, jumping the gun on this a bit, it is so, so important not to take that sorrow. So I don't think that answers your question, but I think we can start. I'm not sure I grasp your question, so maybe you want to share it again before I continue.
No, I think you grasped it exactly. It's how do we navigate ourselves in this place which is full with sorrow.
Right. Okay.
And we're part of it. We are part of it.
Yeah. In the larger picture, we see my part too. But I think another way we can say this, how to navigate it, or the thing is to look at why we need to navigate it, because that already will help us do it in the sense that with one thought, I can move from being stuck in one corner of my beautiful palace versus any other large landscape garden place I want to be in my palace. So why is it so important? And also in the process, we look at how to do it. One of the main reasons we want to not take sorrow is because of a equation which works in reality, in truth. It's working. And the equation goes like this: E plus R equals O.
Okay, you got my mind, my attention.
E plus R equals O. So E means event, R means response, and O equals outcome. So E is event, something happens, and then R is my response to it. And these two things, one plus the other, equals the outcome. And generally speaking, if we are in front of an event that challenges us and we don't like it, we try to change the event. Or we try to change the outcome. But often that doesn't work. If you've ever tried to change a person who's challenging to you and insulting or disrespectful, you see that it's not often successful. Mostly it isn't. And same for outcomes. There are so many things that I can't control. I can't control the weather. I can't control war. It's not in my hands directly. So how much time can I spend trying to change the outcome? I mean, working directly on the event or the outcome. But if I change my response, then outcome changes naturally. So, yeah, I'll just finish that thought. If somebody's challenging me and I'm finding a situation challenging, my response to it can be all the sorrow you want, all the sadness you want, all the anger you want. But then what's the outcome of that? I get sick. The atmosphere gets more full of the vibrations of anger, sorrow, sadness. That's your outcome. And I suffer. It's me who suffers first if those are my thoughts or my feelings. But if I can learn to really create a stock of a larger picture way of seeing things, a better perspective, if I can create a stock of peaceful feelings, centered feelings, powerful feelings, because I'm spending time in the palace of the self, then my response will be different. And I will come out of pain and sorrow. I will be in my wisdom. I will be proactive. And I'm also helping to construct a different atmosphere.
You know, I think in a country like ours, which everyone is feels, and that is one of our strengths, I think, the, arvut hadadit, the one we take care of each other, we care for each other, not responsible, but we care. And I think that's what I said, it's a very delicate notion to understand it, because if we try, first of all, like you said exactly, okay, if you want a different, I think it's Einstein who said it, if you don't want a different outcome, you need a different response. You can't act the same and expect, only a fool, he says, will act the same and accept a different outcome.
The means have to equal the end.
Yeah, and we want to change it. So I think people understand what we want, where we want to go, and why. It's very important, I think, to put the finger on why we want to change the outcome. Now, if somebody around us, and our country is like that right now, okay, in sadness, and when we stay in that sorrow with them, okay, we just keep on enlarging that vibration. It doesn't help them. No. Now, from experience, and I had some of it in the last 2 weeks, it's very difficult not to do that.
That's right.
Because when you do that, it's like you're not bonding. It makes it difficult to bond with that person, because you're not on his vibration, and you do want to be together with him. You do want to escort him. But then something really interesting happens when you do that. And it's not easy. It's not easy because it's like you separate yourself from him a little bit.
That's right.
But once you do that, you give him or her, doesn't matter, a different perspective.
That's right.
You give him or her a different way of understanding what's important, where I want to go. You give him option. And I'm saying it's very difficult because I feel sometimes when I do that, it's like being a little bit pushed out. Somebody's really in sorrow and you don't act the same. It's hard for them to have you around, but in the long run, and I'm not talking a year or two, I'm even talking a few days, you suddenly see a little change in their behavior. And it's really difficult, but that's the way to make a change.
I'm thinking of two things. First of all, I love what you're saying. I love the way you say it. First, it might be that I don't say anything. At least I'm not supporting the vibration of pain and suffering. It means I don't have to go in there right away with all sorts of constructive, positive, optimistic things to say, which definitely can distance you. Where's the empathy? Where's the sympathy? Where's the bonding? But you can go in there in your own palace, sitting in your own palace with the sunlight streaming in those large windows, and that's a different vibration. And that's not offensive. That's never offensive. You're not smiling, because if smiling can be offensive, but you're in a different space. I have seen how that really, really serves, for sure. But secondly, I myself need to already be quite anchored in that palace of myself, because otherwise I might not know the right thing to say. I could still end up not creating the vibrations which would help create a new atmosphere, and not giving the right words or thoughts that could help them come out of that suffering and pain. So it is hard because we're not yet convinced, maybe, that our greatest protection nowadays is this higher vibration. A thought which keeps you in your palace versus in the garbage bin or the area where you throw out the garbage. Many of us are still in the process of proving to ourselves that to go into the area where you throw out the garbage, call it the bathroom or whatever, is to leave myself wide open for more pain, more suffering, more sorrow. It's a no return lane. It's a one-way lane. I'm still proving it to myself, in the sense that any time I allow my thought to accept the sorrow of another, a friend, the situation, why would I do that? It must be because I still don't have 100% faith that that is to create more pain and sorrow for everyone at every moment. So to prove this to ourselves is a first step, and not a small thing. It requires a spiritual practice.
Yeah, because you also say, don't give sorrow, don't take sorrow, don't give sorrow. So you need to feel protected. And you need to understand when you're in sorrow, because don't give sorrow means you're in sorrow right now. And it does happen to us. So how do you need to learn and understand how to feel yourself, how to help yourself, how to protect yourself, like you said, with your higher vibration, with the higher self, with the divine, with the creation. You need to find a way to feel yourself, so you help yourself.
Right.
With the sorrow, because if you don't want to give sorrow or don't want to take sorrow, it's something that you do by yourself. And even if you don't offend people, I still feel that acting, or my experience, it makes you a little bit alone. People want to help you when you're in sorrow. People want to share this thing. Today, it's something that we need to be like pioneers in it.
Yeah, it's a new model.
And pioneers are a little bit alone. I do feel there's something different, but then when you go the right way, and I do feel it and sense it, because you're not alone for a long time.
No.
People see that it's a good way.
Yeah.
And they start walking that way.
This is, we're on a cusp. For tomorrow to be different, radically different, extremely different, for things to swing to the other side, we need people, individuals who are doing life radically different, extremely different. And two things I want to pick up on: protecting myself or keeping myself full. It means I have to give some time to exposing myself to some large thinking thoughts, choose which ones I resonate with, and start thinking them. Build a reality which is based on a larger picture, as well as experience the palace of the self, the large image of the self. So that's definitely one thing, but there's this slogan which I love. I think we shared it, I don't know, but it goes like this: happiness is a daily decision. And in the world we've got today, it's almost like a moment-to-moment decision. Certainly
Yeah.
in Israel it is. But the thing is, again and again, to remember, I have a choice. Where we throw out the garbage is not the only place I live inside myself. That's a choice. So a spiritual practice means I'm getting to know the palace of the self.
And the choice, every moment, like you said.
Every moment.
Happiness is a choice.
That's
And
right.
that's a great way to end today's program, with this thought in mind.
Yeah. Great. So, how wonderful to think beyond any downward facing feelings and thoughts. Is a whole palace in there. Give yourself that thought. Create the image. And settle yourself in a beautiful space in your palace.
Thank you very much, Sharona.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Thank you all. Om Shanti.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.